I'm horny. Horny for validation. I'm so horny for it that I even made it my entire career. Seeking strangers' approval and praise on the internet just really brings me so much joy. But seriously, validation is a fundamental human need. My guy Maslow even drew a chart to prove it himself. But I think at times it can consume you, and suddenly you find yourself living your life for others instead of yourself. So let's talk about it. Here's some validation education. Good morning. Summer has officially started, and that means I'm back in good old Michigan. I feel like I really needed this break and like a social detox. My life at school was so hectic, filled with classes, friends, work, parties, clubs, and just like trying to survive. I had a really fun and busy semester, but it's nice to just like feel bored again. I honestly really needed it. I don't have a lot of hometown friends, so my life here is extremely quiet and mundane. I mostly just stay at home and edit or spend some time with the family. I'm also trying to get back into reading. Ironically, I feel like the time I learn the most is when I'm not in school. It's when I have time to read or reflect. I'm reading Why We're Polarized by Ezra Klein right now, and I think he paints a really holistic picture of the political landscape, if any of you guys are interested. But I feel like when I have time to learn about the topics I care about, I'm actually absorbing information rather than just learning just for the sake of learning. But speaking of reflecting, I've also been thinking a lot about what I want to do this summer. Like most people, I see summer as a time to improve myself, mentally, physically. And to do that, I thought about areas I've always struggled with. And that's where the topic of today's video comes to mind: validation. I think everyone struggles with validation. Everyone wants to be assured that they're enough, that they're well-liked, respected, loved. My relationship with validation changed a lot in the last few years. Before, I was really consumed by other people's opinions of me. I was this shy kid that just transferred to a new college and had zero friends. In group settings, I wouldn't really talk, and because of that, everyone thought I was standoffish. I grew to hate my introversion and blamed that as a reason why I had no friends. Hello. Can I get a medium iced coffee with almond milk? Oh, I'm a bit far. 1 second. I feel like other people's perception of me didn't align with what I thought of myself, and I just didn't know how to bridge the two together. That made me feel extremely isolated and alone. I became hyper-fixated on the fact that everyone was perceiving me differently, and these perceptions were completely out of my control. What used to really scare me was the idea that there were thousands of me out there. Everyone who has ever met me had a different perception of who I was, and they were just like thousands and thousands of versions of me living inside these people's heads. But the problem was that I didn't even have a strong perception of myself to begin with. I didn't have a sense of identity. When I was in therapy, my therapist asked me to describe 3 strengths I had, and I didn't even know what to say. I think at the time I was also just very hypercritical about myself, but also I was just trying to think about what other people in the past had said about me. But this is where the kind of chicken and egg problem comes into play. Because what you think about yourself is often what other people tell you about yourself. If someone tells you one day, "Oh, you're really funny," then you will just think of yourself as a funny person. If someone tells you that you have really pretty eyes, then the next time you think about the features you like about yourself, you will think about your eyes. So your perception of yourself is inherently based on other people's opinions, and what they think validate the characteristics and traits that you have. So in order to stop depending on other people to tell you who you are, you need to start thinking about who you want to be and striving to exhibit those traits on your own. I've recently been having so many eye problems, and one of the many problems is that my eyes get like super, almost like fatigued. Like I feel like they're like gonna close in like the middle of the afternoon. And I went to my doctor and he said that it's probably because eye fatigue and that I should get blue light glasses. So we're trying out blue light glasses. These frames do not fit my face shape, but you know, we're gonna just make do with it. So, girl has glasses now, at least while she edits. But it's 6:52 and I just woke up from like a 4-hour nap. That's what I was saying before. There's just something about being at home that makes me so unproductive, so tired. Just not wanting to get at it. I can't take myself seriously about this. I recently just got my ring light out. I'm gonna film some TikToks, actually get some work done. It's like 8:47 right now and I'm literally just rewatching my old YouTube videos. For some reason, I need to film TikToks right now, but I can't get myself to film anything. I'm feeling like a lazy piece of shit, guys, not gonna lie. And I just want to come on here and tell you guys that. Am I gonna do anything to change it? Probably not. I'll let you know if I become productive anytime soon. Okay, bye-bye. Quick tangent, but rewatching these clips make me realize just how much I beat myself up for not being productive. If I just allowed myself to recharge and be unproductive that night, it would save me the guilt and emotional stress. So learn from me, guys. If you aren't feeling very motivated, just take a break instead of repeatedly blaming yourself. Anyways, I like to get out of the house at night so I'm not completely suffocated by the silence of suburbia. So I like to go to my favorite boba shop called Eli Tea. I've been coming here since I was in 6th grade. If you're from Michigan, you know this place. But getting out of the house always helps me remember that life goes on and just really gets me out of my head. In the past year, I really worked towards building a sense of self-identity and exploring what I value and what I can bring to the table. Validation and confidence goes hand in hand. If you're secure in yourself and the choices you make, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks because you're the one living your own life. But this is a lot easier said than done. There isn't an easy fix. I think it just starts with being mindful and recognizing when you're obsessing too much over appealing to other people. Even now, I still want people to like me and say that I'm great and all that fun stuff, but I try to get my validation from other areas. I feel validated now when I know that I really did my best or really pushed myself that day. I think everyone is just on their own journey of finally being comfortable with themselves, so just take it one day at a time. I also think it's interesting how people seek validation from different sources. Take my sister and I, for instance. Like most older siblings, they have a minor superiority complex from being the golden child, and as a result, she seeks a lot of validation from my parents. But me, as the youngest, growing up, I was so used to being the disappointment that I never even tried to be anything else. Okay, that sounds kind of depressing, but what I'm trying to say is that because of how I grew up, my parents' opinions don't have the same effect on me that it does on my sister. I was so used to being doubted that one of my core motivators now is to prove people wrong, as toxic as it is. But my Achilles heel for validation is among my friendships. Growing up, I was always really insecure about my friendships and never felt well liked socially. So that manifested itself in always seeking validation from my friends and that social approval that my personality was actually okay. So I think it's important to think about what validation specifically you're seeking and from whom. Are you trying to climb the career ladder so you can finally feel respected or get that parental validation? Or are you going boy crazy right now because you never got male attention? Like most things, validation can live on a spectrum, and identifying where you fall on it can help you problem solve what you need to work on. I literally came all the way to H Mart to feed my natto addiction, guys. This is the best version. The last thing I want to talk about is validation in love. This is where my wisdom ends. I think a crucial part in everyone's childhood trauma is neglect. For some reason, mommy and daddy didn't make you feel loved enough, and that manifests itself 20 years later in your love life, and it's a complete bitch to deal with. Everyone wants love, but when you're rejected, sometimes it can feel like your whole world and identity is crashing down. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking it's a you problem for why it didn't work out. Most people want what they can't have because they're looking for approval. If a guy or a girl rejects you, you become obsessed with them because you want their validation and you can't handle rejection, basically. I think the only way to really get over this is to experience a healthy relationship and fix your attachment styles, but that's too much for this one video. So that is all I have for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed my rambles on this topic, and let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.